we're trying to make this a kind of a past to future, but obviously the present now is very much kind of COVID-19. And at the moment, you're kind of leading projects for Sky and leading kind of application integration, but obviously using your kind of background of different experiences that you've had. How do you think that this current situation is affecting how you act as a leader, and has it changed it in any way in relation to other challenging moments that you've had?
Yeah, I think, you know, I'd anchor back to that earlier comment about change and uncertainty, yeah, which is one of the other things that comes with change. And so again, you can't over communicate, and I see it inside Sky. You know, Stephen Van Rooyen, who runs the UK, Germany and Italy businesses for the extended leadership, you know, there's a call every week, you know, and it's not just about, you know, business items, it's, you know, how he's dealing personally with things. And, you know, you kind of leverage, you know, his stories with your own stories, and you propagate that through your organization to each of your employees. And also listen, yeah. I think there's a lot more listening that you have to do with your workforce right now, because these are very difficult times, and you know, it's not one size fits all. You know, you've got people who are homeschooling whilst trying to work, whilst trying to do this and juggle that, and you've got to, as a leader, acknowledge that, give some flexibility in there. You know, we have people who work offset hours, things like that. Yeah, there's some people who, you know, they have a designated day, and that's, you know, maybe a childcare day. You know, so every Wednesday, that's what they do. So I think being flexible as a leader and giving people the opportunity to do what they need to do for themselves and for their families gives you, you know, a better return when they're actually then spending the time that they can allow on what, you know, we need them to do. So finding that balance, you know, letting them know that's okay, I think is really, really important.
What I find is quite interesting, and we've had comments from other leaders, is that a lot of your leadership, as you talked about, is vision, like long term, this is where we're going, you know. And sometimes I think the leader now has to, you know, we've got to plan what we're doing next week now, you know. It's quite specific tasks, isn't it? And
it is, you know. When I look at Sky, you know, it's like, you know, everyone, you know, except for essential workers in studios and looking after the broadcast infrastructure, just about everybody's work from home right now.
Yeah.
And you know, there's things that some people can fully do their jobs from home, some can't, you know, and so some or can do it to a certain degree. And we certainly see, you know, in some areas, you can argue that productivity goes down a bit, but that's more because of lack of access to equipment that's only in the buildings, yeah? And so I've been impressed to actually see that from a development perspective, you know, we're not unduly affected from a development timeline perspective with what's going on, which has been great, yeah, and it's just a testament to how adaptable people can be.
Yeah, and I mean, on the technology side of things, I mean, what type of tools are you using? Is this the first kind of fully remote team that you've run on a kind of global basis, would you say?
Yeah. Well, when I was at Cisco, I used to have, gosh, there was like probably 3,500 folks, and they were across multiple geographies, yeah, which is a different form of remote, yeah. And it's interesting that a lot of the tools that we use there, I'm finding come into play again here, yeah. So obviously the video conferencing thing, you know, the other things we have is just having like open Slack channels, yeah. So the Slack channel just open, everyone who's working on something, whenever they need something, just post a message to it, you know, someone will catch it and get back to them. I think some of the other things we do is just have, you know, take one of these Zoom calls or whatever and just have an open call for, you know, 4 hours or whatever whilst people are working on the same thing. Yeah. And they can just shout out to one another, you know, when they need some help on something or whatever. And I think all those kind of things really, really helps in terms of making people, again, feel that connection. And, you know, the technology now, you know, you don't think about it. I think, you know, what the biggest decision you got to make is what Zoom background you're going to put on you.
That's right. Yeah, it's important, isn't it? So,